The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. We're going to take a look at the German DAX and also the FTSE. I usually just put these up and don't say very much about them, but folks, if you'd like to see how these markets work internationally, you really need to look at that FTSE and DAX. They're just absolutely nearly perfect harmonics. I mean, if you look at the DAX, this is not listed as a head and shoulders pattern, but if you look at that little purple three drive to a top pattern that is there, that's the shoulder, that's the head. You have the left shoulder and the right shoulder equal in time, and that's how you define a head and shoulders pattern right out of Dr. Andrew Lowe's book, The Non-Random Walk Down Wall Street. If you've got your head and shoulders pattern that is symmetrical with both shoulders at the same price and in the same time, that sets up a head and shoulders pattern mathematically, and that's what's really important, because these markets definitely are mathematical, folks. There's no doubt about it. If you just look at some of these things, you don't have to be a rocket science to figure it out. We have to have some more kudos for our good friend Mr. Bo in the Tiger Den, who was bringing the alert of copper up at there, that 308.50. The high was 309.25. We're now trading at 304. There's some support there at 303, but if we get below the 303 level, this copper could have some really problems on the upside. So let's make a note of that. Now, one of the things that people ask me is when I give these numbers, like yesterday I gave the number at 3520 in the S&P, and basically, folks, all I'm doing is I'm just looking at basically, simple stuff. If you'll see that dark black line there, that's basically a downtrend line where you have lower tops. And all I'm looking at is to see if they'll rally up into that number. And you'll see it's sitting right at the 78% level, which also happened to be a 61% retracement of the high. That's that 135 pattern that we like. And bada bing, bada boom, and away she goes. You'll notice that yesterday, towards the close, it rallied up to 34.95. That was nothing more than a 382 retracement. And then you can see we've come down here to this level of 34.30, which is a completion of some of these things. And the key level today, folks, is 34.20, because if you get below 34.20, you're starting to move more than one standard deviation from the high, and that's when these option sellers will come in and really do some damage, because the options are much greater. Over the past 2 weeks in here, we've been talking about the open interest in some of these things, and I just want to bring this right from the CME here. You'll be able to see this is the Nasdaq on Monday, okay. And then I want to also bring up the Nasdaq up here on Tuesday. Remember, this is when the market was rallying very strongly, okay. And this is telling you that, let's get this up here so we can see it. There we go. This is telling you that there are no new buyers coming into the market, folks. When you see open interest dropping, that means that their contracts are leaving, and that is not bullish. That means there's not new buyers coming in. That's one of the things that we've been screaming about. Remember, this was a counter trend rally that we're seeing here in the S&P, and so far, it's moved down 80 points. If you remember, we tried the short side. It was so beautiful at 35.03, and boom, we gave him 8 points out of that one, bad one. So you take your loss and move on. You know which ones are going to work. And that's the problem. Only if you did, it'd be great, but you don't know that. So what you got to do is to just keep looking and keep trading. That's the main thing. What happens to people, though, is they get caught in the headlights like a deer, and they don't act, and that's when they get into big problems. They don't follow their plan, get out like they're supposed to, or they add. The worst thing they can do is add to the main thing. So we'll see that. Okay. Yes, they're talking here about terrific. Tom Hugard has had a nice run here this week. He's been short the NASDAQ, and which is pretty nice. So we'll see if this moves on to the other side. The other one that we've been watching, those of you that get the videos, we've been watching Apple very, very closely, and that's been doing pretty good. Now, he's long copper and praying praying that the low does not break. You feel confident, Mike. So I'm seeking to maximize my exit. Bo, look, don't worry about what anybody else thinks. You're being long copper. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that at that 304 level. Just if it gets to 302, you might have a problem, Buckaroo. So just remember that. That's the main thing that you want to keep an eye on. That's something that I think you got to take care of your losses, Bo. Your profits will take care of themselves. You remember when it was at 303 on the way up, you held it till it got to 308. We remember that last week. I mean, that's why I keep bringing this up, is because we followed the fact that you put your pedal to the metal and rode it all the way up, and you've been able to see what's happening. Because these are just patterns. So, folks, sometimes they totally they don't work. That's the base thing. That's why you've got to watch 3420 in that S&P, because we break below that. That's not going to be a very good sign. That's for sure. It's very, very unusual to do that. Now, October 15th happens to be one of the most important days of this old cowboy's life. So I need to go over some things when we come after the break. I want to talk to us about where we were October the 15th of 1987 and what happened over those next few days. And also I want to talk to you about something else that happened in 10 years later than that, before that. So I'd like to go through some of these things to be able to see why October 15th is such a really important day in this old cowboy's life. So it should be good. Now, yesterday, one of the things that we were watching was the soybean contract. We talked about the 3-drive pattern that had happened in soybeans, as you'll see, and it was having to rally back to the 61% retracement. Now, we didn't know if it was going to work or not, but you'll see here that if you just bring this up and take a quick look at it, you'll be able to see, hey, we've got a caller coming in. Oh, my gosh, how did he ever get through? Mike, are you there?
Yeah, it took me a while because all the calls that were ahead of me, Larry, but they let me in.
I know the waiting, it's really bad, my friend, so thanks for squeezing in. What can I do for you?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having Joe DiNapoli on. I think it's been about 15 years since I heard anything from him. A long time ago, I did take one of his webinars that Tom offered. But, Larry, on his charts, he has the abbreviation XOP and COP. And can you explain what the abbreviations mean?
I used to know what they mean, but I can't remember, Mike, if you want to know the trade. It's, I really don't. I think it's got the P is for price, and I don't know if the O is for the opening or not. I'm not sure because, I've known Joe for 50 years, and when I was at Conti Commodities, and studying with those guys, I shared a lot of information with him. So, hey, stay with us, and I'll try to answer that for you, okay? I'll make it quick.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, we'll be right back, folks. 877-927-6600.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, we're back, folks. We're talking with Mike down in Florida. Mike, I've got your answer. There's so many smart people here. This Tiger Den, they instant messaged me what it was. XOP is expansion. COP is contraction. Expansion of price, contraction of price. That's what they said. That sounds about right. So I hope that helps.
Yes, it does. Like I said, I a long time ago, Tom O'Brien offered. It was a webinar with Joe DiNapoli, and I now, of course, that refreshes my memory. So that's great. And one of the things I do remember is he was showing us that the greater amount of the contraction or counter trend move, if it's greater, the chances are less that you're going to get a one-to-one expansion on the on the C to D leg, and the opposite being that the lesser amount of a retracement increases your chances for the C to D leg to exceed 1-to-1, where you can go to 1.382 to 1.618 or even a 1-to-2.
That's correct. That's right. Yeah, he certainly knows that. It's just a human interest comment here. Yesterday, after we finished the show, about 10 minutes after the show, Joe called me and told me that his brother had just died. He's got an older brother in Boston, and he's a few years older than Joe. Joe's only 71, so he passed away unexpectedly. So very sorry to hear that. But I hope it wasn't from listening to the show. But he wasn't sick or anything. He just passed away. So who knows? Anyway, listen. Thanks for calling in, Mike. Is there any other questions you might have?
Well, just thanks for having him on, and we're sorry to hear about his brother, and hopefully he'll be on again soon. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we are definitely going to have Joe on because I've been friends with he and Patty for forever. So and he's interesting and he's smart. That's the main thing too. So we'll have him back for sure. So hey, thanks for calling in, partner. I appreciate it. You were lucky to get through, so you ought to play a lottery ticket today. Okay, folks, I'm going to talk a little bit about the 15th of October. Very, very important time in my life. Let's go back to October the 15th, 1988. the Dodgers were playing the Astros. Were playing the Athletics in Los Angeles. It was what they called a freeway series, San Francisco against Los Angeles, and this was the first game. And I was living up in Pismo Beach. Well, I was living with John up in. Well, no, I just moved into the big house, and one of my dear friends up there was Milton Weintraub, who was a furrier and jewelry guy down in Santa Barbara, and his son was Michael Weintraub, and Michael and I were we were like brothers. I brought his kids home from the hospital, and now it was 1988. Milton had been from Brooklyn, and he always wanted to go to a World Series game. So he called me up at 6:30 in the morning and said, "Look, I'd like to take you and the grandkids to the game tonight." And I said, "Milton," I said, "this thing's been sold out for 3.5 weeks." He says, "Yeah, you can get tickets, though. I know you can." And I said, "Oh, my guys," I said, "I'll do the best I can." So the first thing I did was call Tommy John. He was playing for the Yankees, and he laughed, and he said, "Larry," he said, "why don't you wait till the day after?" He said, "I might be able to get tickets." He said, "Those are really tough." And he told me, he said, "Call Wes." And I said, "Yeah, that's my second call was to call Wes Parker. He used to play for the Dodgers when Koufax and Drysdale, he was on that team. He was the first baseman, and we were very dear friends. And he owed me a big favor because I got his dad into surgery at Cedars-Sinai with this specialist many years before. And he was one of my customers at Drexel, saying we'd made a lot of money. So he was really nice. So I called him up. It was about 7:30 in the morning. And I told him, I said, "Look," I said, "I need 8 tickets for the game tonight." And he laughed. And he said, "Oh, only 8 tickets?" He said, "You know, this is a pretty big game." And I said, "Yeah, Wes, I know." He says, "Well, you got to be the luckiest guy in the world." And I says, "What do you mean?" He says, "You know, I do Japanese broadcasting for the Dodgers. And we have, I've got these guys coming over, and I have 8 tickets for them." And he said, "They want to go play golf." And I said, "Where do they want to play?" And they said, "Well, they'd like to go to Pebble Beach." And I said, "Oh, well," I said, "I know somebody at Pebble Beach that we could get in." So I called Jack Valeni, and I said, "Hey, I got some guys who want to play golf. I really need to help." And it was, I believe it was a Wednesday. And so it was real easy to get on the course. Usually you couldn't do this. And so he said he got the tickets for me. And by golly, what happened was, it was October 15th. It was 5-4. Anyway, what happened was I got the tickets, and we all went down to the game, and it was a fabulous game. And it got down to the bottom of the ninth, and the Dodgers were losing 4-2. They had 2 men on base, and there were 2 out, and their biggest player was hold on, oh, just a second here. All right, let's got to take a break here. Anyway, now see, Mr. Z posted that, and when I did that, I lost my train of thought. Oh dear, I can't even remember the guy's name that came up to bat. Oh God, come on, folks, give me a minute. Oh, this is embarrassing. I think about this thing all the time. It was the most exciting. Anyway, right in front of us, sitting right in front of us, 2 rows in front of us. We were right behind Kurt Gibson, yes. Anyway, he was the batter, and there were 2 out in the bottom of the ninth. Right in front of us was Frank Sinatra and his wife. They were like 2 rows in front of us, and on to the right was Jerry Seinfeld. I didn't even know who he was. Meathead, what his name, Rob Reiner was right behind us. I mean, there was just a whole bunch of people there. It was you got to go to YouTube and see it because it's really incredible. So he gets down, there's 2 out in the bottom of the ninth, and he hits a home run and wins the game 5-4. That's not, that in itself was really exciting. But what happened afterwards, what was the most exciting thing, and that is he goes around the bases and everything, and the game is over, and nobody would leave. They wouldn't leave. They just stood up and screaming and yelling and everything, and it was really an amazing thing. It must have been about a half an hour. They were flashing the lights, and then on the big scoreboard it said, "Please leave. The game's over." And nobody wanted to leave. I mean, it was really, really exciting, and it was the greatest home run that anybody in the Dodgers had ever seen. But Milton was there that day, and Michael and all the grandkids, and then so anyway, that's how it went. But it was very, very exciting, and I really enjoyed it. And those folks were very, very important in my life. So it was one of the reason why we had this thing with with that. It brings back a whole lot of memories. In fact, I was talking to Michael last night about it, and it was he remembered it very, very much. They still kept the tickets, which was really good. So we'll see what's going on here. Okay. We got something really important, I think, from going back to October 15th. We're going to go back in history to 1987 before the crash. I want to walk through that because we'll probably have a crash. Maybe it'll be in my lifetime, maybe not. I don't know. But it'll happen, and you may or may not be in it. But remember, when you have a crash like that, it's an opportunity. So that was one of the best buying opportunities that we had of the 1980s was that crash of 1987. If you look at it on a long-term chart, it looks like a blip. 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento watches the markets 24/7, and now is a great time to try out his daily trading service, Fibonacci 24/7. Larry publishes videos and charts for subscribers throughout the week when warranted, and every weekend he puts out a thorough report covering worldwide markets, futures, commodities, and currencies with Fibonacci retracement levels, possible trading setups and zones, and stops and targets for all recommendations included. Larry applies the principles he's developed over decades of trading while analyzing a variety of markets for subscribers. To see for yourself the types of videos, charts, and analysis that Larry provides for his subscribers, sign up for Fibonacci 24/7 today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. You'll also gain instant access to Larry's archived subscriber webinar from earlier this year. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today. If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, Butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, we're talking about October the 15th, how important it was to me over the years. There's a couple other things I can't cover today, but I do want to cover this one. I posted page 134 out of my book, Astro Cycles, A Trader's Viewpoint, just to remind us what happened during that time period. You'll notice there on August the 25th of 1987, we had 5 major conjunctions and a new moon, and at the equator, Jupiter was retrograde and Mars was trine with Jupiter, so this was a huge deal. And there were 5 planets leaving the sign of Leo, the roaring lion. And so I was on TFNN in Los Angeles. That was the forerunner of CNBC. And Arch Crawford and I were on the same program with Bill Griffith. I'd never met Arch before. That was the first time I had met him. And over the years, we became great, good friends. But we were both saying that a major top was due sometime in August the 25th exactly. And my premise was that there was going to be a drop in the Dow Jones of more than 300 points in one day. And remember, it's trading at around 2650 to 2700 in the Dow Jones, as opposed to 27,000 where we are right now. And so that was a rather, pretty wild thing to do. But all I did was I took the largest up day that we had in the past year, and I multiplied it times 1.618, and that gave me 350 points. And so I said we'd be down 350 points. Well, we were down a heck of a lot more than that on that day. We ended up being down over 500 points on the 19th. But let's go through this. Basically, after the top came in, the market broke down, as you can see here on this chart. It's a little hard to read, but you'll be able to see it. That low there in September was right at a solar eclipse, and then the market rallied up into October the 2nd. And October the 2nd of 1987, market closed really strong, and I had bought puts for October that expired on the 16th. They had 2 weeks to go, and I was thinking the market was going to break those 2 weeks to come down into that big low that I was looking at on the 19th or 20th. And so I did, and by golly, it worked really good. This was the 15th of October now. The market was good, and then 16th, which was a Friday, the market really got hammered. The Dow was down over 100 points. And when you're trading at 2,600, 100 points is a lot, folks. And so that made the news. It was down 104 points, and my positions were working really good. My puts expired right on the high of the day for the puts. So it was just everything worked out beautifully. And I was bucks up on those puppies. I was short some S&P contracts, which were trading at $500 a handle, not $50 a handle. So each point was worth $500. And then the market closed badly that day. That was the 16th was a Friday, and we had a party for one of the Merrill Lynch guys up in Paso Robles. It was his birthday party, Malcolm Smith, and they had a great party. And then on that was Friday night. Saturday, I had to drive to Los Angeles because Sunday, Eddie Horowitz was getting married, and we had my gosh, there were so many people there. Tudor Jones was there. There were so many financial people at the wedding there at the Bel Air Country Club on Sunday, the 18th. It was really fabulous, and my daughter drove down with me, because I told her I'm probably going to have a little bit too much champagne. I actually didn't, but we still had a great time. And I was coming back. It was around 7 o'clock at night. And for some strange reason, we didn't have an overnight markets at that time, but for some reason, I just felt that there was something, and I don't know why I felt this way, that something was not quite right. And so I called the overnight desk at Drexel, because I was working at for Bateman Eichler at the time, and they didn't have an overnight desk. And the guy told me, he said, gold was up $25 and the foreign exchange markets were going crazy. We didn't have overnight stock trading or anything, so I knew it was going to be, pretty crazy. So the next morning, of course, the Dow dropped. Oh dear, I forget what it dropped on the opening. I think it was down. It was down 550 points, as I recall, on the Dow, and it made the bottom, which was at 1666, which was an exact. You got to look at this yourself, folks, if you don't believe Fibonacci numbers. It's down 508 points, yeah. Okay, but if you look at it, you'll see that low was exactly a 61% retracement of the low from August the 9th of 1982, and that's when Paul Volcker came out and turned the bond market. And so that was the big thing. That was the start of the big bond market, was August 9th of 1982, and that low from 1987 was spot on. and it was really quite amazing. Another part of this story was fun. Ty Andrews, one of my dear friends who is an actor for the Mod Squad, Captain Greer. He had called me in the morning. It was about 6:30. He had a tea time, and he was short some S&P because I talked to him every day because he was still trading. And he said, "What should I do?" And I said, "Hey, play a round of golf, come back at 10 o'clock and see what the market's doing." Anyway, that was a $50,000 round of golf for him. He played at the Riviera Country Club, and when he called me back about 10 o'clock, and he said, "What should I do?" And I said, just either cover it today or tomorrow because they're going to try to hold this market up, and that's this is certainly something that we haven't seen for a long time. And so he did, and he did okay. But anyway, okay, let's move on here to the next thing. Somebody's here talking about copper. Haven't been able to check the price of copper. Has it held the 303 level, folks? My guess is it's pretty powerful there. So if it doesn't hold 303, Bo, you got to look at stocks do fluctuate. That's for sure. They go up and down. Remember Will Rogers, what he said is to buy stocks that go up, and if they don't go up, don't buy them. Okay, see that level held, Bo. You were right again. Very good. 306. That's very good. That's $500. That's terrific. Okay, that's what we're trying to see here. So, anyway, the moral of this story is when there is a crash, and if it does come, look for an opportunity because it's going to be coming. And you'll have to do a lot of work, and you've got a lot of people here at TFNN that'll help you. But we will have some big sell-offs, and whether that'll be a depressionary type crash or not, I don't know. We haven't had a depression in 70 years. So, I have to see if it's going to work or not. That's basically all you're looking at. The key thing you got to remember today, folks, is this number of 3420 in the S&P. If we get below 3420, it's going to be really difficult. And the reason is that it's going to be down below one standard deviation, and that means that the option sellers come in and they have to protect their positions. Crashes occur, folks, when these option guys cannot protect their positions. That's basically what you're looking at. You're watching it to try to do that. So we'll see. It's whether it's going to be anything. People ask me here about these overvaluations and stuff of Zoom and all these other things. Folks, I have no idea that kind of stuff. I'm a futures trader and Forex trader, and that stuff is, frankly, over my pay grade. The only stock I really look at is Apple because so many people trade it, and which is fun. That's pretty much it. 877-927-6648.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The Bull Bear Trading Hour with Tom and Tommy O'Brien. Next.
Okay, we're back, folks, and they were chatting here in the room. The copper had a nice move up, which was good. It's always nice to see the things work along, and we'll basically keep an eye on that. Okay, by the way, someone's asking me about the Japanese golfers that went up to play golf up in Pebble Beach, and it turned out to be okay. I don't know if you know this or not. If you want to play golf, folks, you better have a lot of money if you go up there to play. It's $575 to play a round of golf up there. Can you believe that? You think these things are not crazy? That makes these markets maybe not as crazy as we'd like to see them. Who knows? Okay, let's double check to see what we're doing here. The important thing, folks, is to watch 34.20 in that S&P. We're trading at 34.45, which is good. We're 20 handles above it. The key level to watch today, folks, is 10.30. That's the main thing to look at. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens at that time, because if we're making new lows after 10.30 this morning, it is extremely bearish. And, all I do is look at these numbers as they relate to support, resistance, how they move away from the standard deviations. And that's all I'm looking at to give an edge of whether you think things are going to turn or not. That's all you got. Because I don't know what's going to happen next. I mean, people think that I do. And frankly, believe it or not, boys and girls, I don't know what's going to happen. Regarding the soybeans, we had a perfect pattern set up in soybeans. And I don't know. I know the market's been bullish because of the fundamentals. But, all we were looking at when we were watching that was this simple little pattern. And this is just a 15-minute chart on November beans, and it covers the last 5 or 6 days. You can see the exact high was a 61% retracement for the high that we made back on Friday. I didn't know if it was going to work, but I said if you sell it at 1060, you don't have to risk very much. You can be a farmer and only have to risk $250. Well, that thing made $750. So that's all you got. You don't know what's what's going to happen at that point. Okay. All right, let's move on to more of these stories. Just to give you an example, that's another. We'll save that for another day. Someone's asked a question about the how trading went on the and not many people were around 33 years ago when we had the crash in October of 1987. But to give you an example, the S&P was trading, at around 260, I believe. It closed it down about 40 points, but 40 points times 500, folks, was $20,000. And believe me, at the end of the day, the bid and offer on the spread, if you wanted to buy or sell a contract on the S&P, there was nobody in the pit. other than a few order takers. That there was nobody in there. There was not one local. Most of the locals got massacred. But the bid and offer was $5,000. In other words, it was 100 points a bid and offer. I mean, it was incredible the amount of money that was there. In other words, if you were selling, you had to pay 260 or 20 say 262, and if you wanted to buy it, you had to pay 260. So there was a $5,000 spread between that. That's equivalent to over 100 S&P points as you look at them today. That's how bad it was. So that's pretty much going on. So we'll see how the rest of this is going on here. They're putting stuff in here about the election. I don't understand what that means, but we'll move on. And I don't want to talk about the election anyway, because I know little about that. I know as little about that as I do anything else. So that's the main thing. Okay, one other one. Heads up here, folks, because let's get up here and take a quick look at it. Someone asked me about it, and I wanted to post it. This was from Larry Williams. It's regarding the gold market. The key level that he's watching here is December the 22nd. That's 12/22. That's a very key date. Keep an eye on that. Larry said that it was really important. And remember, he was the one who had hands out bidding on March the 23rd when the whole world was selling. He came out with a tremendous buy signal saying that if it didn't go up today, it was going to go down for a long time. And of course, that was the bottom. And we've had this huge rally that has taken some of these things, to tremendous heights. I'm trying to answer a question that I can't answer, and that is when you're looking at these stocks like Zoom and some of these other ones that I don't have any idea what they do, I don't know anything about that. But folks, the same thing happened in the dot-com bubble. We didn't know what these things were doing. You had stocks like WorldCom, Global Crossing, Sycamore Networks. There were so many of them that went to zero. So a lot of these probably will, but which ones, I don't know. But they still follow these same patterns, folks. There's no difference now than what we've ever had. So that's really what we've got to do. 877-927-6648, but you might as well not try call in because Al said the lines are so jammed he's not even able to take any more callers. So we'll see what's going on. Well, look, I look at Google and Amazon. Whoever thought that these stocks would go to, whoever thought that Apple would go to a 12 trillion or $1 trillion stock? But they did, and there's going to be others too. I don't believe, I said this back in 2000 when the dot-com bubble was ending. I said this is a once in a generation where you see something like this, and I still believe that because, this is nothing like what happened in 2000. In 2000, these things would jump 50%, even if they had a sale. Most of them didn't have any earnings, let alone any sales. So that is, that's pretty much what's going. Someone said Zoom is a setting on his camera. I don't know what that means, but who knows. Okay, well, they're talking a little bit about Tesla at 450. That's also split. That makes it around 2,200 or something like that. Remember, folks, Tesla is not an automobile company. It's a information gathering company is what it is. It has nothing to do with automobiles, in my opinion, and that's why it's trading where it is. It's not a question of what we're looking at here. Let's take a quick look at the markets here at the first 20 minutes of trading. So far, we're holding the 34, the low is around 34.30. That was that big ABCD move that we posted this morning. This is why it's so important, folks. Let me bring it up to you because I throw a lot of numbers out here during the day, and I wanted to get this up here so that you'll be able to see it here. Hold on one second. Okay, Mr. Z is saying, hold on here. Astrologically, do I see something really big happening? I don't know, but I know this historically has been a big week in the market several times, not just this. In 2007, when I first started doing this radio show, it was October the 15th, and we had just made a high on the 7th, and that was the move, that broke the market that took the NASDAQ stocks down 85%. pretty much in 2007. So that was the real estate bubble, or whatever they wanted to call it. But astrologically, I really don't know. We need to get Norm Winsky back on the line here, because he usually has some good stuff. And Shane will have some things for us next week. Tomorrow, hey, we're having Tim Boston on tomorrow. He'll be able to tell us that, Z. So save your question for see what's going on.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step-by-step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
With markets trading with extreme volatility and peaks and troughs everywhere, regardless of what you're looking at in the markets, this is a great time to see the type of analysis Basil Chapman delivers for his subscribers every market day with the Opening Call newsletter. Basil has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The Opening Call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, along with specific recommendations, including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the Opening Call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, support at 34.20 in the S&P. Let me bring this chart up one more time for you to take a look at it. This is just covering the last, this is a 30-minute chart, so it goes back the last 6 or 7 days. Now, you know, I'm just showing you this because of the fact that we had that 135 pattern up there at 35.20. We dropped 90 handles down to 34.30. The key level is 34.20. If we get below 34.20, that is a very important thing to remember. And also, if we're making new lows after 10:30, that would be a very, very bad sign, because remember, we use part of the opening price when we're watching some of these things, and that means it would go below the opening price at that time, and all the early morning buying that you're getting right now would be dissipated, and they would be, wondering whether the market's going to turn or not. So we'll have to be able to see. Someone asked if it was true that Joe DiNapoli's brother passed away right after the show yesterday, and yes, he did. So that was just, he was sick, but it was unexpected that he passed away. It wasn't anything to do with COVID. And regarding COVID, we have two of our listeners here at TFNN Worldwide that are over. One is in Sweden, the other is in Japan, and both of them have a COV, but they're doing well. They don't have any symptoms as of yet, just a minor cough, but they've been tested positive, so we got to send some white light out for them. Tomorrow we have Tim Boss, Financial Cycles Weekly. He's always ranked very high, so if you want to talk about cycles, he'll certainly help us, and boy, we need help with all the news that's coming out, through the politics and economics and all the other stuff that's going on in the world. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless, and make sure you do something nice for someone who has a lot less than you. So be safe, my friends.